Reasons why therapy may not work. First of all, most people have unrealistic expectations the first time. They just don't know how threatening and painful it is to really look at oneself. And if you're not going to look at yourself and want to change, you're not going to get anything out of therapy. There was a famous psychologist, it was a Talmud of Freud's, his name was Solomon. He said like this, he said, everyone goes to therapy for two reasons. One is to change, and one is to stay the same. And what he meant, I think was a brilliant insight, is yeah, we want to go and change, but I want to change her. I want to change him. I don't want to change me. I'm fine. You know, we all have a certain level of dignity inside us, an ego that it's very hard to let go of that. So when you go to therapy to change yourself, not to change the other person. What can I do to be a better person? People generally drop out. These people in your question, it sounds like they've been in therapy a number of times. People generally drop out when it gets too painful. And it's, you know, therapy is a serious time and financial commitment, but the benefits is absolutely amazing. Many times people come to me and I discovered that the reason they dropped out from their last therapist was really because it was getting too painful. The issues were being opened up. So, you know, and they couldn't face them. So it's best go back to your therapist, one of your previous therapists first, and make sure that you've worked through, don't just run away. You've worked through what was going on. Most people I'm aware of, who I work with, who drop out, are unaware that really their issues are trauma-based. You know, with 3 generations from the Holocaust, there's a lot of people still with deep trauma from the Holocaust, whether it was too smothering, you know, there was too much anxiety and smothering and control, or there was a lack of, you know, the connection, the attachments that we need to thrive, because they lost loved ones, so love got shut down, and they don't feel they feel responsibility, they don't feel the love and the attachment. So, you know, for example, these kind of trauma-based issues, they need healing. They don't need guidance or advice. They need healing, and that takes time. So you have to go back and be willing to face that stuff. What you need to do is always find a therapist who is able and willing to challenge you and disagree with you without offending you. Therapists should create an environment that's safe, that feels good and feels comfortable, right? But you know, it's something a person has to be able to get to that place where you can be honest and you can let go. Honestly, let go of your ego so that you can get to the real issues. And I'll make one final point, if that's okay, and then we'll move on. When I work with struggling teens, I learned something really, really meaningful. And then I realized basically applies to everybody, everyone who comes into therapy. This is going to sound a bit strange, but I want to be very open and honest. At the end of the session, when I work with teens, I tell them what my ideal is. You know, your parents are sending you, so they're entitled to know if you came. I'm not going to tell them other information, but they're certainly entitled to know if they're paying that you came. And the other thing, I meet the teens, when I meet them first, I meet them in my waiting room. I don't meet them in the office. So at the end of the session, I tell them, by the way, this isn't my office, this is my waiting room. And they say, so why are we in the office? I said, well, in the waiting room, you get to lie. It's okay if you lie. I have no problem at all. That's fine. You know, when you finish lying and you want to be real, we go into the office. Just let me know when that happens. So many, obviously, get very offended. You know, what do you mean I lie? I don't lie. I don't lie. So I point out, so look, you just lied. There's your first lie. Of course you lie. Everybody lies. What are you talking about? And I try to help them understand. Human beings, we have dignity. And we have an ego, whether we like it or not. And no one can walk in and reveal right away the real issues. Everyone has secrets. And it's exceedingly difficult to get to the real hidden secrets that pain us and embarrass us and shame us about ourselves. And I can tell you from experience, until you get there, you haven't gone to therapy. Everything you do till you reach that place where you can touch into your own shame and embarrassment and your knowledge and self-awareness about your own flaws. Until you get there, you're really not in therapy. You're doing pre-therapy. You're moving towards therapy. The therapy actually starts when you reach that place inside you. So